Hello, my name is Carol Constant, and today I am going to be telling you about AI tools to build women leadership pipelines. And for that, I'm going to start telling you what I'm doing right now about women leadership pipelines. In the European Union, I am European, I'm based in Europe, although I worked in 6 countries on 3 different continents. The European Union now this year, 2026, is doing something remarkable, something that is going to make a before and after regarding women leadership, correct? The European Union issues directives. Directives are like laws that then every state, every country in the European Union needs to make part of the legislation. And the one that is affecting tremendously women in leadership is EU directive on gender balanced leadership, correct? In listed companies at the top executive position, C-suite, and also board positions with 40 and 33 percentage of women that are required on those at that level, correct? That is huge. I am a EU expert in gender, and because of this directive, I presented, together with a partner, I presented an application to the European Commission to get training for women in this very, very high level to be able to facilitate, to support the implementation of the directive. And we thought, okay, let's start with something that we can do. So 20 women, some of the most talented women in the EU, to be trained, to be fully ready and visible, because they are ready. It's mainly also to make sure that they are visible and they are there, to be able to access these new opportunities. Yes. So imagine we announced this very quietly. Let's say we didn't do a marketing campaign, we didn't put it out there, boosting, nothing. We simply put a LinkedIn post. That was all, to see what was happening. We only needed 20 women, correct? Can you imagine how many women apply? This post of mine was shared hundreds of times, and it had over 100,000 views. Imagine that. More than 1,500 women apply. We were overwhelmed. This is something that nobody was expecting, because women traditionally they don't apply. But what happened here is we were just asking, are you a senior leader? Are you a woman? You identify as a woman? Yes, apply. You don't have to give us your CV, nothing. Just tell us why you. That's it. And women responded. Yes, they did respond, my goodness. So unfortunately, we could not take many dozens of really, really talented women that deserve to be there. And this is why we're going to be doing cohorts still this year and maybe next year, because this is very much needed. Yes. So who am I? Let me explain you who am I. So I'm an EU expert, correct? And on gender, I have some recent awards. For example, 2024 Leader of the Year by Digital Women. In 2025, the most influential HR CEO in Central Europe by AIGM. And CEO because I started my own company. It's a human resources technology consultancy. We help companies build balanced executive teams, gender balanced executive teams. I've been a Google ambassador for Women Tech Makers, a G100 council member for pay parity and corporate transformation as well. So, why female leadership is so important? Yes, why is it so key for all of us, not just women? Let's look at nature for a moment. Nothing in nature operates individually. Ecosystems stay stable because different forces balance each other out. There is tension, yes, but there is also equilibrium. Human leadership should look the same, don't you think? Half of humanity is women, half is men. A 50-50 world, and yet, when we look at leadership in companies, in politics, in capital allocation, that balance disappears somewhere along the pipeline. Well, this isn't about blaming men. It isn't either about fixing women. It's about fixing the design of the system that decides who gets to lead. Because right now, that system rewards performance style more than actual performance, more than leadership ability. Think about how most leaders are selected. First, the CV, then the interview. A CV isn't a life story, it's marketing. An interview isn't neutral, it's a sales pitch. Both reward a very specific behavior: strong self-promotion, visible confidence, quick verbal dominance. Across many cultures, girls are raised differently to boys. They're encouraged to collaborate, to share credit, to avoid sounding arrogant, to be excellent but not loud about it. So when it comes the time to write a CV or sit in the interview chair, impact might be present but play down. Well, all research shows these patterns clearly. Many women, wait until they meet nearly all the qualifications before applying, while many men apply earlier and more confidently. But here's what we don't talk about enough. The same systems that filters out quiet talent also puts enormous pressure on men. Men are paying a high price too. From a young age, many boys are taught that performance equals worth. Performance pressure and emotional isolation are part of that story. So the current leadership model doesn't just sidelight women, it trains men. And here is where AI can help. Not as a magic fix, but as a redesign tool. Imagine a system that reads CVs and doesn't just reward the loudest language. It finds measurable impact even if it's written modestly. It pulls out outcomes, patterns, skill clusters, regardless of whether someone used the word led 10 times or 20 times. Yes? Instead of asking who sounds more confident, we ask who actually deliver results. Now imagine replacing part of the interview process with gamification. Not with competitive games, but problem-solving games. Here's a real scenario. Show us your thinking process. AI simulation can measure how someone deals with frustration, how they manage conflict, how they handle risk, and how they prioritize. That's behavioral data. And behavioral data doesn't care how low you speak. For women, this reduces the penalty for not overselling themselves. For men, it reduces the pressure to constantly project certainty and dominance. It shifts leadership for performance theater to real capability. AI can also look inside organizations and ask uncomfortable but important questions. Whose work is central to team outcomes but rarely visible? Algorithms can spot patterns humans miss. or avoid seeing because of bias. But let's be clear, and we know this, AI isn't automatically fair. If we train it on biased historical data, it will replicate those biases at scale. So this requires intentional design, bias audits, transparent criteria, continuous monitoring. Technology amplifies whatever values we embed in it. So what do we want to amplify? A 50-50 leadership system isn't about quotas. It's about accuracy. It's about measuring leadership in a way that reflects the full spectrum of human capability. When we broaden how we define leadership, we don't lower standards, we raise them. We create space for ambition without burnout, for strength without emotional suppression, for collaboration alongside decisiveness. In a better designed system, women don't have to become louder versions of themselves to advance. And men don't have to carry the psychological weight of constant performance to prove their worth. When we remove distortion from how we evaluate leadership, something simple happens. The pipeline starts to look like the wall. 50% women, 50% men. Not because we force it, but because we finally measured fairly. We know AI is going to shape the future of work, whether we guide it or not. We can use it to automate all biases and all pressures, or we can use it to build leadership systems that are balanced, human, and sustainable. When we redesign leadership at 50-50, we are not taking something away from anyone. We are restoring equilibrium. And that makes leadership stronger for everyone. Thank you very much. Let's work together.